banned, and I.
What was the other
Was it?
ban?
Who was the other
Slaughter.
band? Was this? No, no,
Oh,
no.
sorry,
That's Slaughter.
it was
Shadow Link.
Shadow,
Yeah,
of course.
that's the
So straight Wisp pickup from Finem. That's an opener that could mean a whole bunch of things, right?
Yeah, Spartan plays this very well, but
Oh gosh.
Oh, they let Zhao 8's legendary Enigma through. He's got an 88.88% win rate over 25 games. Finem, no! I mean, yes, go on, LGD. Come on, lads. Forever young.
Dude, you said you wanted to be professional.
I'm trying.
That guy had an Enigma shirt on. He was ready for that.
Maybe they gave away the Enigma because they wanted real big, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Don't give up.
well, they probably feel like they can really contest the early game, take advantage of the fact that they're going to be greedy with that Enigma in the jungle and really put pressure on LFY. If anything, they see that win rate and they're like, well, that's against the playstyle of the teams in their region. That's not against us. They have an 88% win rate.
That's ballsy. I like that though, guys.
When they lost the first game with Bounty Hunter, they kept picking Bounty Hunter. That's ballsy, and it worked out for them. So this time they have a pretty good opening against the jungling hero. You have IO Bat Rider, so you can put a lot of pressure on the safe lane with that dual lane. Maybe they were like, oh, you can jungle. We're gonna be taking your safe lane. We're gonna pressure him.
But one of the things you were talking about yesterday about how Zhao 8 ran the support Bat Rider was that Enigma can do the same thing. So do you not think he'll come mid and just harass the mid with Enigma and then push like that?
He can't harass as much.
He can't. You can't really do it like the Bat Rider.
Not the same way.
Yeah. You kind of want to wait for level 6 when you get your black hole, and then you make a rotation, maybe smoke. He's like something like a Beastmaster jungle. You jungle really fast, you get level 6, you smoke, you get a kill.
Yeah.
It's very different from Bat Rider jungle.
10 seconds remaining.
And they remove the Alchemist.
Okay.
Hey, you'll be happy. Yeah.
Yeah, no out.
No, I'm literally at this point in time. I'm numb.
You don't have to walk away from your job, you know?
Yeah, I did walk away from the desk at one point. Yes, Alk is not going to be present. But, you'd say the poor man's Alk does still exist.
But their bans though, Adfinance bans, they are very targeted at LGD.Forever. The player that we kind of talked a little bit, where he's really good in the carry role, very active in helping his team, and being on the dire side as well. They ban out the Ursa, so they don't have the access to that early Roshan. Like LGD as a team are really good at exploiting Roshan, take objectives, because it's a Director 8 team. He's very disciplined. They rarely make bad mistakes. They rarely overextend. Those are the kind of heroes that you don't want to put on LGD.F.Y.
Do you think it's a good idea to ban your opponent's sort of favored carries rather than their favored supports? Like, which would you rather do? Face a team without their favored carry, but maybe their favored supports, or vice versa?
That could be targeted at the player. For example, if I'm good example would be someone that has only a few heroes, so you want to ban out that few key heroes, and you force him onto a hero that he's not comfortable with.
Like Tivazor. To reference the last game.
Yes, we did witness that. Of course, the winner of this does meet DC.
I mean, they do one of each. They ban out the lifesteal disrupted. To me, these are more kind of draft. As much as he plays a great lifesteal, they're draft-oriented bans because the lifesteal is a good matchup against the Bat Rider, and disruptor good matchup against the IO with the being able to glimpse back the relocate.
Yeah, but basically, like Weaver is a good replacement to the Ursa and the lifesteal. He's very similar in those carries. He's not as explosive, but he does fit in the criteria where you want to carry that doesn't need too much babysitting, because you're running a jungling Enigma. You don't want to carry that, oh, guys, I can't farm, I need help. Weaver is not that kind of carry. He's self-sustainable. So that is what works for LGD's system right now.
We have seen some very hits and some very miss Weavers, haven't we?
Yeah, some teams really value the Weaver a lot, some don't. Some on the support position, some on the offlane position. We saw the hero everywhere. Like even on mid, there was a game. But right now, Finem, with the clockwork pickup,
one of those is a 4, like the clock or the
might be a support clockwork just for
black hole cancel.
Yeah, black hole cancel, and it might also suggest that they might be doing like some Shadow Fiend, because if you do support clockwork, you want to abuse the cogs to give the Shadow Fiend damage. That might be a good reason for picking that. And they go for the bench, the Bat Rider counter. You want to remove the lasso, save the carry. Good synergy with the Weaver with the minus armor. So you can see that LGD just building a dire lineup, a lineup that allows the team to repeatedly abuse the Roshan. They have very good Roshan potential.
We haven't seen really any of their signature picks apart from the Bat Rider. Finem is their second most picked or banned against them.
Well, they definitely have a plan here. Look, they're going back for the puck.
That's a signature pick as far as Thug's concerned.
Yeah.
We saw the Dagon puck yesterday. He plays this hero
Big
ridiculously well.
hero incoming, Alex. This is like the similar setup in the game where they went for the morphling. They're gearing up for a very heavy carry here, with the first 4 picks designed basically to make space for that hero. A lot of good options though here.
We've seen how effective that can be.
Yeah.
So signature pick's going to be coming in. Well, they're basically setting up their teammate to succeed. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, 4 heroes to make space so that Madara has all the space in the world, you know. A lot of options open, and you know the enemy is running a carry Weaver, so you're more or less going to have the advantage when it comes to late game. Because Weaver wants to play an up-tempo game. You don't want a game to drag out.
Oh, it's there, it's back again. You said this is the last time. You know, he's built up for 4, and then the Morphling comes in.
He had a great game on the Morph as well. Absolutely destroyed them.
Is this a similar kind of ad Finem draft that we've seen in the past with that building to the Morphling? I mean, there's some changes, there's some alterations, but it was a winning formula before.
Very similar. Last pick Jug is going to be the mid laner, so they want to have something that can really 5-man and push. I mean, it's LFY way. Have the 5-man, the healing ward really amplifies that. It's a very stable mid laner for Super to be playing.
Oh man, this is happening. I mean, this is if ever you wanted a challenge, you just sit there and realize that Spartan is sitting there leading against one of the most highly regarded captains in the Dota scene. If you want to, you know, if you want the glory, you have to go seriously hard into this game. What a series this is going to be. You boys feeling confident about your predictions? You like LFY's draft gods?
I'm just excited for the game, you know.
Yeah.
I just forgot my prediction. I just want to watch this game, you know. It's going to be fun.
It does seem to be the general consensus. Yeah, the same thing the Winter keeps saying, I just want the good Dota. That's what you keep telling me?
Yeah, of course. Good Dota. Like, everyone wants to watch good Dota.
And this could very well be very, very good Dota. Sexy Dota, some might stretch, and I get to introduce a sexy duo now. For this cast, it is none other than Malini and Capitalist. Will the Greeks seriously continue this story, or will it be LFY to crush those dreams? We'll find out.
Thank you, Alex, for a wonderful handoff. That's right, Ad Finem versus LFY. Some would think that Ad Finem, they faced against a really tough opponent in the first round. And Newbie, you would expect that they would be feeling good going to this second round, but really that's got to be testament to Zhao Wei that people would still perhaps be fearing LFY with 2 stand-ins more than Newbie.
You can't ever underestimate Zhao Wei. He just is always on a strong team and always commands his team in a way that is admired by most.
And that's exactly why he's able to make 2 stand-ins work, as we're going to see a 100%. Hey, there we go, Stadium. What's going on, guys?
Yao walks into
that could be an early first blood
heroes.
With the sticky napalm. It's hard for him to turn around. Body blocked up. Madara steps 1 step ahead or forward. Thug's going to be able to get a couple more right clicks, and they've got him dead right. That's going to be your first blood for Ad Finem to start things off.
They smoked into the Dire Secret Shop, and Sand King actually went south and then west, as opposed to going straight up into the Secret Shop, trying to get a little bit more vision for his team. And Xiao 8 typically plays a support that can help out Yao's lane at some point in the game, but with the Enigma, that will be a little bit tougher, although he will be denying the first creep in the off lane. So, as you can see, a lot of focus given to that.
Yeah, we've seen Zhao Wei, the last time he played Enigma, I believe he was versus the Vici Gaming J team, and they had a very similar lineup in that you replaced, they wanted to be able to have early, like mid-game fighters, and they wanted to be able to have some pushing power behind it. So substitute Juggernaut for Razor and a Weaver for a Luna, and you have some very similar strategy that LFY is going to be running with this Enigma that is usually so highly contested in the banning phase against LFY, against Zhao Wei in particular. Ad Finem, though, already off to a good start, and they did get the Bat Rider in exchange for that Enigma. And as the second pick, we'll see how successful Skylark is, as maybe next time trying to contest Zhao Wei inside the jungle. They've already blocked off his offlane camp, and now it seems maybe next time we'll deny him the rest of the jungle as well.
It is a support clockwork, something that we don't see too often, but he is going to be playing that bounty hunter-like position 4 and just constantly harassing out the Enigma. And if you thought that Madara's Morphling was scary the other time that we saw it, this time he has a Wisp to pair with him. And that just brings the Morphling online that much sooner. So now Xiao 8 is in the Radiant jungle, and he was scouted out by the Observer Ward, perhaps going deep into this side, and maybe next time it's hot on his trail.
Yeah, He certainly is. I think he knows exactly what Zhao 8 is up to. Zhao 8's going to have very little time to work around in this jungle before being contested by the Clockwork. At least he'll get his level 2. So he'll have that to be able to work around with. This is kind of similar to the way we saw the battle over the Satyr Mind Stealer. Who's going to be able to get that last hit? Well, maybe next time he'll take Eidolons instead, bouncing back to the Mind Stealer, and will manage to take that last hit for himself. High action stuff here in the first 2 minutes.
And back on the trail to hunt Xiao 8. Xiao 8 right under the Radiant Observer Ward, and maybe next time knows exactly where he is. They are ready for this Enigma. A lot of teams first ban it.
And he got a haster just
ready.
to be able to catch
Super's
up.
in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Super is very low. They may actually be able to do a wrap here. Maybe next time he's going to go for it, but he only has Cox to work with. He pushes back Super. Is just going to go for the right clicks here. Thug starts setting up, but he's not feeling that orb, so they just take the pressure given and are just going to allow Thug to be able to win his lane. Maybe next time he's maybe a bit too low now to be able to harass Zhao 8 away from these neutrals. He at least can sap half the experience.
Enigma has not picked up a skill yet at level 2. If maybe next time ventures too closely, he can skill up Malefice and get a kill. If he's uncontested, Midnight Pulse to break down those trees and take out that hard camp is a much preferable option.
Now we have the level 2 on Clockwork, which gives him a lot more kill power. He's going to pop his head out here. Starts going for Zhao 8, pushing him back, and seeing if he take the last hit, which he, of course, does. To focus a little bit on our other lanes, though, Super is already falling behind as the Juggernaut. Thug is 18-3, thanks to the early bit of pressure, both from the Clockwork and Puck's natural ability to be able to win lanes. Top lane, Skylark's starting to go on to TDC. He's getting a lot of damage done by End, and will easily be able to clean him up. Skylark overstepping himself.
Yeah, there is no armor on that Batrider. Usually you see maybe an early ring of Prot versus this double minus armor lane, but he just got owned by the Swarm.
An early Rocket Flare instead for maybe next time, but he misses out on some easy CS against those Eidolons. Bottom lane, Yao does seem to be doing pretty well for himself as the Sand King. Much better than Skylark's Batrider, that is. He's matched up against a Morphling, right, which is a pretty good lane for Sand King. He can use that Caustic Finale to really be able to harass Madara back, and due to his low range on the Morphling.
Zhao 8 following his trail, pinged out immediately.
Maybe next time. Gonna reset himself, dying off the neutrals, and I'm sure because they see Zhao 8 making his way into the Radiant Jungle, I have no doubt that maybe next time in his fresh life will be appearing sometime soon. He's going to TP up to that mid-tier 1.
They only have one way to stop Xiao 8's TP, and that is the Cog. No battery assault still skilled up yet on the Clockwork, so this is going to be a very difficult kill. Xiao 8's kind of already prepared for this invasion by maybe next time. If he traps himself in there, it could be a little bit...
Cogs, there it is! He managed to get it without battery assault. Meanwhile, the Batrider dies again at the top lane. Maybe next time he's going to try and chase down this Enigma, but Thug is actually going to come over, and maybe they can actually nuke him down. The orb should easily be able to land. He's not going to be able to get in front, but the Wiz helps him out with the tether, slowing him down. 2 for 2 is the scoreboard, though, because Skylark in the top lane, he has gotten his level 5, but it's cost him 2 deaths against a Weaver lane. This is only get the Weaver online that much quicker.
And finally, he has the Ring of Protection, but with the aid of the Blightstone, it's going to be very tough for him to continually survive in this lane, and may need to concentrate on stacking, which he's doing at the moment. And Xiao 8 is only level 3.5, 5 minutes in. I think free farming Enigma generally level 6 around this time, and maybe next time has to feel good about the way that he's played this early game. DDC.
Bounce back just a little bit. Skylark is going to be able to get ahead of him here. DDC is going to throw out the stun, but it looks like he may go down. Skylark goes for another right click. He should be able to get it. That's 1 kill. Can he get away from Endo? And is hot on his trail with the Shikuchi. Skylark has the bugs on top of him right now. He makes his way up and down the cliff and will start using that healing salve. He will survive for now.
And there's just very little way to deal with that Batrider as he goes up and down the cliff. Maybe next time still hunting Xiao 8.
This is looking just like, remember the Wings EG, where they first ran the Venomancer jungle against Wings, and they ran a Treant Protector that just went in the jungle and just bullied out the Venom. Maybe next time he's finally going to be caught. DDC showing why he is an apt replacement to LPC. He's going to be able to block out, and maybe next time will go down, securing Zhao 8 to jungle once again.
I like the body block. Gave them enough time to hook up with that Malefice.
And look at bottom lane. Like, Madara is not feeling real good without his Wisp. Dan King was able to push a little bit farther forward when the Wisp was showing himself. Every single time he's been off map, Yao was able to play a lot more aggressive in lane. And, I mean, Ben, you pointed out in the group stage. Coming across. Oh, he's going to wrap around. Spartan is so low, too. This could be just a 1-2 punch, a nuke, and a right click could finish him off, but not going to happen. Spartan starts healing himself up. Now they're actually going to try and man mode against DDC. DDC is going to be able to get the stun off first. He's now the target of Mater's aggression, but oh, a flare brings him a little bit lower. He has 5 seconds till the waveform's up. Yao has to go for the body block here, and it looks like they're going to give up on that kill ultimately. A nice rotation by DDC.
Maybe they thought that the Wisp position was a little bit more veiled. Double stun on top of him. Also, Wisp, a no armor hero in this situation, easily gets right click down.
And they didn't actually bring counter wards, so I'm not actually sure if either team saw the wards being placed as they happen around the same time. Dream Coil, Super should be fine with his healing ward. 1 step ahead of the puck. And if maybe next time is not actually going on the Enigma, as he's been punished once now by DDC, he can't actually help out against the Sand King. The Sand King should be able to just burrow strike out of any Cogs attempt of maybe next time. So what does he do from here, Merlini?
I think probably try and get level 6. He needs to be able to hookshot in and stop a black hole, stop an epicenter, maybe stop a TPing juggernaut that's spinning. I think, and more importantly, try and control the Weaver at some point in the game. Weaver is going to be the most farmed hero on the side of LFY for a bit to come, especially with Enigma hindered so much. So they need to be able to keep him in check somehow. The puck also with a Blink Dagger, perhaps. I don't even know if he's going Blink Dagger first.
Oh, Super got him. He managed to get onto Skylark. Skylark hitting for the clip, but he's just not going to make it in time unless the Fire Mirror. Oh, there it is. And Fairy Fire makes the difference. Skylark does manage to stay ahead of that. That's an Omni Slash down. Super is going to use his position to try and pressure this tier 1 tower, but it's just not the bounty he was really hoping for.
And that stack has been scouted out by the Dire side, and that is going to be something that they may be looking to do right after this, and can also just Shikuchi into there with a level 1 Swarm in, maybe take out a fair amount of those creeps.
And this is exactly why Thug is trying to rotate across with his Invis rune. He knows how important that tower is, but he's going to be spotted out here.
Can they set up a trap for him? It's still going to be pretty tough.
They only have 1 disable out. That does not look like a situation that is possible to be able to get kills, so they're just going to play passive for now and let Super get free farm in mid.
And let's see if Skylark is able to take out the second. Yeah, Enigma is 6 at the moment. He does have a smoke. Also going for more of a team fight build with the Arcane Boots and the Buckler. The Arcane Boots you don't see too often, but if you're grouping up a lot and no one else is really building Arcane Boots, I think it's definitely a good choice for them. Greaves.
Yeah, he also likes to be able to build Greaves, right?
Yeah,
so
Greaves versus the Silence on the puck. It's pretty good.
they're going to try and go for this smoke. They have the Black Hole as well as the Malefice are available. Malefice goes down. Madara's going to try and make his jump away. He's going to be stunned up a little bit more. Spartan's ready to go with his level 6 as well. In fact, they can actually turn this one around. They starts getting some damage onto Zhao 8. They're going to be able to bump him back here, looking for the waveform to finish him off. He's got it up now, but he's just a bit too far away. No, he actually does clip him. Skylark goes in deep when they manage to set up a huge Dream Coil. Skylark may go down, but the rest of LFY have dropped so damn low. Madara's going to be able to clean so much of this up. He's got a third. He's going for a fourth. Super trying to get him towards the back line behind the tier 1 tower. Just one more auto attack is all they need, and Thug's going to be able to get it. Killing spree for Thug at Finem. Reading LFY's rotations real quickly.
That was a dangerous proposition even to begin with. I think Io was just sitting behind him ready to heal him up, and Morphling, I think, can easily just strength morph out of a potential black hole. And Puck coming into, look at this beautiful Dream Coil coming out from it. That was such a well-placed flame break too, but
I mean, Skylark, like they all turn on Skylark, but it sets up this beautiful Dream Coil that it doesn't even matter if Skylark dies there, because you know your carry Morphling's going to be able to clean up so much.
yeah, they didn't have Omni Slash because they had used it on the Batrider earlier, and that's a big fight for Finem.
And look at this, maybe next time. He wasn't actually a part of that. He was up at the top lane, so he got a bunch of solo experience. He's going to pick up his level 6 right now off of sharing some of the experience from that off-lane stack. And now, at 11 minutes in, for a 4-position clockwork, that was, what, level 2 maybe? 5 minutes into the game, just kind of wandering around following the Enigma. He is now level 6. He can try and be active on the map.
Sand King, also very far away from his Blink Dagger, gets harassed a little bit by the Morphling on the bottom lane, but yeah, Clockwork is no no laughing matter now. They have to have a way to stop the Enigma from the black hole and through the BKB. Lasso is just not really that reliable. A lot of teams like Ventral Spirit and I would say Global Silence. That are the two most common ones, but the Clockwork is an entertaining idea when it comes to dealing with the Enigma, and he was very fruitful in his pursuits in the early game. I wonder if he can pursue it in the late game too. It's just hard to hook just because there's so many units. You often don't have a clear line. Enigma himself can block it with the Eidolons.
A little bit concerning for Skylark. That was a great fight at bottom lane, but Skylark still needs to be able to pick up his farm for his early Blink Dagger so he can start being a threat on the Weaver before that Linken's is complete. Because that's kind of the game you play. When you're playing the Batrider against the Weaver, you kind of try and stay one step ahead of him. His Linken's, he picks up the Linken's, you're looking towards Force Staff, but...
The thing that's great about the Batrider in this game is he doesn't actually have to be the one that jumps in on the Weaver. Like, shotgun later. Ooh.
True. Especially with Thug being here. Nice swap back out. And he's still going to pop that one. He's underneath the fire, but he will manage to get himself away with the time lapse. Now Skylark is stuck inside the trees. They've already taken out the Wisp, and now Skylark's going to be up next too. LFY, they're the ones to group up in a defensive posture. Thug comes in and does manage to execute DDC, but the rest of them are going to heal up off the healing ward. Thug takes it away though, hoping to be able to stop this incoming push.
That was such a great swap by DDC, allowing time for N to time walk right back into the fight at very high HP. And yeah, the Puck, I think, is very good at controlling a Weaver because you don't have a good way to dispel the silence on their side. Maybe like a defensive swap, but that's not really what you want to be using your swap on, I think, in most of the team fights. And
gonna try and chase down the Morphling here. Weaver's gonna get some good damage on him. Spartan comes forward though, and they're actually gonna turn on N. NT gets taken out. He did not expect the swift turnaround of Finem.
This Morphling is fat.
Yes.
Again, 7,000 net worth already. And he's over-leveled, which makes a big difference because of the one level of adaptive strike, which completely caught End off guard. He's like, oh my god, this guy has a ton of agility, and he already has that 1 point, and of course max waveform and agility gain. All these stats add up when you're trying to kill a pesky hero like the Weaver.
Yeah, he's been chipping away at this tier 1 tower for quite some time too. It looks like he's going to try and force it now. Yao goes for the stun, but can't really stick around. Tries to go for the deny. Going to be faked out between the two of them, but Madara will lay claim to the bounty. Now he jumps forward the waveform, brings Yao a bit low, trying to send him back to base. Meanwhile, top lane aggression. Thug is deep behind this tower, and Skylark is going to try and bring the creeps out. They're going to go for this tier 1, it looks like, a little bit of a pushing action.
And there, he was scouted out by the Eidolon, so no chance of him catching them by surprise. Xiao had already TP'd out. He has his Beck now. They need to get some team fights going. A lot of it is going to rest on Yao getting his Blink Dagger, but he's still 700, 800 gold away on that. And once
the relocate coming in, the Super got the Dream Coil set up with the Silent Super. He goes for the spin, but it's a bit too late. DDC's actually coming in, but at Finem, they're actually happy with this fight. They will gladly take an extra kill, even as the relocate is coming back. They get a second kill and maybe a courier. Not maybe next time, but maybe Thug can get him almost. It heads into the trees. Thug won't be able to get it. He TP's back to base, fearing the worst in LFY's rotations.
And LFY, they need to make use of their big team fight ultimates. Enigma was slowed down, but he's been level 6 for 5, 6, 7 minutes now. Yao also hasn't been able to use his epicenter. Finem are always able to get the jump on, and look at these observer wards set up by them. LFY, they can't even venture towards the opposite side of the map, even past the river, to get their wards down. Normally it's Xiao 8, the one that's supposed to have this great of an impact, and in a little bit of trouble. No Linken Sphere up.
They're going to be able to grab him, pull him back straight into Thug, who managed to couple with the silence, but they just can't quite finish him off. He is a bit too tanky with those strength treads.
And Xiao 8 looking for a target, and probably looks with a little bit of chagrin as he sees Morphling's items with a Linken Sphere. That's good. There goes our best initiation. The Sand King stun onto the Morphling to lead things off.
Yeah.
Swap, not going to be effective. Malefice even, not effective. Weaver has no way to pop the Linken. So this Linken Sphere is going to be a big issue for them. And combine that with the Wisp sitting behind them.
Madara could just have a free game once again, supercharged by Spartan's Wisp. They have both their Blink Daggers. There's no doubt what Finem's playing here. They play fast against LFY, fast with both a early puck pickup as well as a Batrider. They're looking to try and take over the game around this 15-minute marker. LFY, they need a little bit more time before their mid-game begins to strike.
They have the Blink Dagger on Sand King. This is the time. They have a smoke ready.
Yeah.
They need to be able to use an ultimate, hopefully bait out a relocate, and black hole those two heroes and then set it up for a big combo. There is level 2 Omni Slash on the Juggernaut. He just hit level 11.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, right? That ultimate can actually finish someone off, whereas the level 1 form, even if it's on a solo hero, it just won't be able to finish them.
Yeah, so where is Xiao going to make the call to go? Looks like they are going to be headed down bottom, sweep through the Dire secret shop, and Puck's ready. Look at his position. He has an illusion route. He might try and pop the smoke.
Managed to get a scan onto the Wisp. They know where Spartan's going to be coming in with that relocate, but can they actually stop the relocate? Starts going down. They're going to go for the pullback. The black hole's there, but no, he managed to pull. No, he doesn't get him. They get him pulled. Double kill picked up for Super.
What a black hole from Xiao 8. That scan coming out.
Yeah, that was big time. Spartan had to time it just perfect where you relocate and at the last quarter second you go for that tether, but he couldn't quite get it. Runs into the black hole while he tethers, and unfortunately that means we're going to be losing 2 members to add Finem. LFY very happy with the push that's going to be coming out now. You look at it, Spartan, he starts setting up that relocate, but he just comes in a little bit too early with that tether and the swap.
Yeah, very well done. They were so ready for that Wisp because they knew that he was approaching from the south side, not from the east side of the trees. And he's probably pretty disappointed that LFY just read him like a book.
And now, as a result, LFY are going to be able to push out that bottom lane, get some good control of the Radiant jungle. And do they have? Yeah, they've got actually some aggressive wards that they can lay down as well. Add Finem. They've got, what, 10k net worth on Madara, 8k on Thug, but another bad fight like that, even just a gank on one of these cores, and LFY is going to be right back into it when it comes to overall net worth. Ad Finem currently holding a 5k advantage and about 2,500 experience.
The Morphling was getting close to that point where he was almost immortal, and it's like, okay, we don't need to worry about you. Like, even we don't really need to Wisp with you. But after that fight, it's a little bit, it's much scarier for Ad Finem. Like, do they need heroes sitting behind the Morphling? If so, it doesn't need to be 1, 2, 3 heroes, and they still want to be able to play aggressively with the Puck because they only have one real big scaling core in the Morphling.
Yeah, that's the real dangerous part, right? Is that LFY can afford to commit all those resources towards a Morphling kill, because on the other side of the map, you don't really care about a Puck farming or a Clockwork farming. It's like they're already reaching their peak period in time. It's not like they want to be able to find more farm. They want to be able to fight at this point. So it's not even like they're going to be punished by split push. It's not like they're allocating net worth to other Ad Finem heroes that are dangerous. This is a single core Morphling, and as long as they keep him down, they can actually go relatively late into the game.
I wouldn't be that worried if I were LFY. A couple of bad fights for them, but nothing that's unsalvageable. And the mech just makes their team fight that much stronger. And IO, very, very poor as per usual for Ad Finem's tactics. And looking at the items, Puck has gone back for the Dagon build, same one that we saw in one of the other games. Only Dagon 1 at this point in the game, and Morphling with signs of his Blade coming out. So Ad Finem trying to strike while Black Hole and Epicenter are still on cooldown. They're in a pretty good position though, most of them around that T2 tower. They could use a scan if they want to scout out where all of them are, but they're all on a ball.
That is the commanding position that Xiao 8 is in, right? He pulls all his members back as a group.
He knows.
Keeps them away from this smoke, because they know the mobility of Ad Finem, right? You've got a Morphling, just because he's showing on the other side of the map does not mean he can't be right on top of you in a moment's notice. They've got Bat Rider and Puck, both whose long-range initiation is we're going to be able to see here in the initiation on a super. Yeah, waits, but there's not much he can do without an Epicenter. No counterplay there. They get the free pick off of the core that Xiao 8 was so worried about, and now they're going to lose a tier 2 as well.
Yeah, that's a pick off that Xiao 8 definitely did not want to happen. And yeah, they have the Epicenter up, but no Black Hole. They still don't want to fight. He's working on his BKB, but it might be too late.
All right, going high ground in 19 minutes with the Morphling, only at Finem. Madara starts getting a bit of chip damage here. It's going to be forced back pretty naturally just by the presence of a tier 3 and only a 15-second death timer left for the Juggernaut. Damage done, I suppose.
Puck may be setting up, and end doesn't show, so no relocate possible for them. And Weaver really close to it. Lincolns don't want to die at this moment.
Yeah, that's why he's spending all his time in the jungle, right? No point in showing in lane and getting caught just before you pick up that big defensive item. There's that upgrade that we were talking about for the Bat Rider. Now he's got a 4 staff, so even as the Lincolns comes up for end, We may still see Skylark being able to play around that.
DDC doing a little bit of de-warding as they probably prep up for a smoke very, very soon. Black Hole coming off cooldown in 18 seconds. Can they make a big play with this? Yeah, I think the call is going to be to smoke right around the Black Hole cooldown. And at Finem, they just ate a ward, and you know, typically you do drop sentries right before the smoke, so they're probably expecting it at the moment, maybe grouping up. And I wonder if LFY are still going to smoke after the reveal of that Observer Ward.
Looks like they may still try and go for it, but it's going to be a different kind of smoke, right? Last time around, it was kind of a 4-man, let's go get a full team fight smoke. This time around, Weaver's actually going to show in lane. They've got the Enigma farming up the jungle, but they are going to smoke up between Yao and DDC. They're going to try and sit behind N as he pushes into that tier 1 tower. At Finem may still suspect something like this. They're going to be leading the charge with Madara. He's got that Blinkins as well as the Ghost Scepter. He jumps forward with the waveform. Still might be able to get out here. Might need Spartan to relocate. They're going to be able to throw that one down. The swap goes down. Oh! This time around, Spartan does manage to get him out in time, and it is full retreat now for LFY.
They did drop an Observer Ward, so that's something small, and they didn't actually have to use Black Hole. Xiaowei was lagging a little bit behind, and no Blink Dagger means he can't catch up to Yao jumping in. And I like how Spartan didn't wait for the last moment. He knew what happened last time, and if he waited a little bit longer, Enigma would have been able to nail him with a Black Hole as he was tethering in. So this time he's like, okay, any sign of, they popped his Linkins, they stunned him, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I know he can probably survive for 3 or 4 more seconds with more strength, but he just does it early just to ensure that the Morphling stays alive. And looks like a tower trade is happening mid, taken down by LFY as top T2, scored by Finem.
At Finem, we're going to try and force them back, though. They've already taken that tier 2 and are reaching towards the tier 3. Skylark's going to be leading the charge here, deep inside the enemy base, seeing if he can get the quick pick off, and he may just find it. Yao is sitting there, so super. He's going to blink forward, goes for Yao, managed to pull him back. The big nukes come in with the Ethereal Blade, complete on Madara. They're going to have to complete more TPs for LFY, and they may not be able to save too much of this tier 3's HP.
There is a buyback on Yao if they want to expend it.
May just need some kind of initiation to come out from LFY before they go for that buyback. We want to be able to ensure they actually catch these heroes. Nuke comes out, and that's going to be super forced back to the fountain. This gives Madara more time to click down this tier 3 tower. It's already gone at 22 minutes in. Finem are this time successfully sieging the base. And LFY left with little response here. They don't want to buy back on Yao with just 10 seconds left, but they're going to give up on melee racks this early. It seems like that's the commitment they're making.
And they'll back off, happy with their spoils, as LFI look on with hope as they try and wait for more teamfight items to come out, probably waiting for the BKB up on Xiaowei, but you've already lost the melee racks and more objectives soon to come. And it was super easy for them to pick up the Sand King, and they were just not ready for that wraparound by Skylark on the top side. It was nighttime. They didn't have an Observer Ward behind. It was not an easy gank to pick.
This rotation could be big for LFY, could be real bad. They're trying to go for Roshan right now. They're going to be spotted out as Clockwork comes in with the flare, but it doesn't look like Finem actually have the numbers.
Or the positioning.
Yeah. Some of them are missing mana, some are missing HP, so they give it up. Aegis will go to the Weaver now.
There is a Wisp replicate on the south side. He may try and push out the lane, and maybe it might bait a Sand King stun into a shotgun. Let's see what happens here.
We see the little ball. They're going to swarm onto it, but the way they're treating it, they realize it's a replicant.
And Madara's already at the mid T3.
Yeah.
TP's coming out of plenty for LFY.
Now he does jump down to that bottom lane, but it's already after he's forced LFY to head back to the base. So he's got plenty more space to be able to work around. It's not like they're in any real dangerous timing when it comes out of Aegis. Finem 1-2, they can slow down this game and wait for the Aegis to expire naturally.
And also, the Weaver isn't that big of a threat right now. He just has Linkins. There's no Deso. he can't actually like burst people down. You can't just like Rambo in as a Weaver, sacrifice your first life for the Wisp or the Puck or whomever it may be, just because it's going to take him like a good 5 seconds to kill someone. And Radiant has used Scan. It just pings out on N, but because there's one hero, they're more than likely to suspect that the rest of LFY are hanging about.
Now, I was going to say they really just do not have enough disables for this this Morphling because Black Hole, there's so many counters to it in this game. But now we have an early BKB for Zhao 8. So now he just has to worry about the hook shot from maybe next time. Everything else can be disposed.
His only job.
Yes.
is to stop the Black Hole.
He can let all the initiation go to Skylark. He's just got to get the counter initiation on the Black Hole.
Or relocate out on Spartan, but that's I would say a little bit more unreliable. The hook, I guess they're both not that reliable, but one of them needs to be able to save the Morphling, especially when the Aegis went LFY's way.
I mean, I would say I think the Tether relocate out is actually the more unreliable option just because of the way that LFY is playing around it, especially since DDC is about to pick up his level 2 Nether swap. The way they've been intercepting this Wisp and trying to quickly swap him into the Black Hole may not make this a reliable escape mechanism for Finem in the future.
Yeah, DDC can also look to break the Tether with a swap, like not even just swapping the Wisp, he can swap the Morphling into a very compromising position. So there's many ways for them to approach the Tether relocate, as you mentioned. And there's a gem
that's
pickup.
Unfortunate. Skylark has that gem, but he just didn't quite make it to that Observer Ward. Either way, it'll die naturally.
Yeah, and I saw Madara using a replicate on the Batrider earlier to try and kill some of these Observer Wards, but none of them have been taken down yet. They are in pretty difficult position, at least 2 of the 3 to D-Ward, and Finem poking up at that T3 on the bottom lane, and LFY, as usual, is together as 5, and they have to decide how they want to deal with the split push. They have to TB back.
They can't let an agility'd up Morphling like this. Oh, Zhao 8 almost goes down. The mech will give him that little bit of a bumper. They do manage to get the tier 1 tower. Madara only gets a pittance of damage. Oh, they actually just swapped back, but that was a miscommunication. Now he's actually going to jump forward. He gets Black Hole, though. They may have the damage with the Juggernaut on the slash and the epicenter, and all goes to killing Madara. It goes for Zhao 8, but he can't get him.
Yep. There was just no one really at Finem over there. Like, Skylark was so far back. Maybe next time wasn't even in sight, and he went for the relocate, and
Good
even
try,
with the Glimmer Cape isn't going to save him. And that's the thing with another swap. Like, it just ruins your positioning. Morphling was just way too deep in there because of the swap.
13-11 now. And that kill was quite the big one. LFY demonstrating a stunning amount of teamwork to be able to bring down the big carry of Finem.
And he didn't get his strength morph off before the Black Hole came out.
That definitely, that's rough. You could see LFY beginning to make that comeback. They need some of these big core items, and they're finally getting them too. The Desolator on the Weaver. Next up, they need to be able to have like the Diffuser Blade so they can start eating through that Morphling's mana as well on the Juggernaut. And thanks to these occasional pickoffs, they are beginning to build up these items and may be able to have a big strength surge around 30-35 minutes.
Yeah, they're a little pressed now. They've given away a lot with the Roche and then another big kill on the Morphling. Morphling not as free a game as it looked like in the early game, but who are they going to catch with this? Skylark has smoked hot.
The relocate's ready to go too. They're going to be able to grab Super. The first strike comes in a bit too late. Now it actually puts himself in danger. The waveform comes out. They manage to get the new combination to bring down Yao as well. And all of a sudden, Finem go from behind to now being able to take 2 heroes in the enemy jungle and might just be able to push into the high ground off of this. Fortunately for LFY though, they've done a good job of making sure all their lanes are pushing out as much as possible, making so when Finem go for these kind of rotations, they don't immediately get pressure onto tier 3s.
And it's a very back and forth game as Finem always try and pressure when Black Hole is down, and some of the members, Super in particular, has gotten caught out twice now when the Black Hole has been down, and just not really respecting Finem's will to fight at this particular moment.
40 seconds till the Black Hole's up. Skylark does manage to siege Zhao 8, but pushes them back instead with that flame break. Getting free damage onto that tier 3 tower. Glyph is going to be popped here by LFY. 10 seconds until the Juggernaut is up, and that's 10 seconds. Just free right clicks on a tier 3 for Madara. He's got to back up. just as Yao shows himself and the Juggernaut does freely revive.
And despite dying twice, he's still incredibly ahead on the net worth, already completing his Manta style, aiding in that tower siege. And they don't really have a good way to deal with those illusions. Sand King can epicenter, but it's good if, like, for example, Juggernaut decides to Omni Slash it, those illusions are going to take a lot of the damage, especially considering how poor the Juggernaut is relative to everybody else.
Look at this. En's actually going for BKB with this Mental Hammer, but check out what Thug's got himself. He's building into an Aghanim Scepter. This is going to be so good versus both the Juggernaut as well as the Weaver, as with their magic immunity, they think they're going to be able to get out of that coil, but with an
Even
Axe
the
upgrade.
Enigma, too.
Yeah, true.
Although Enigma, unlikely to actually move out
He's
of it.
a little bit more stationary, right? But
Yeah.
those other two cores, they like their mobility. They don't want to be locked into one spot.
And Morphling needs to be able to man up if they're locked into the coil. I'm not sure if he's going to go BKB next. A Butterfly, I guess, is also a pretty good item for him. It just depends on how well he thinks he's going to be able to be supported by the Wisp. If Wisp can do all the defensive abilities, then he can just go full-out offense and just destroy people inside that Dream Coil.
We've hyped up this TI winning captain a number of times during this game one. And we're going to continue to do so because so much of this game now rests on his shoulders with the BKB and a fresh Blink Dagger pickup. These black holes could change so much. That smoke, they were right next to the neutrals, but it was nighttime. Maybe they're lucky enough that Finem didn't quite notice it, but they're playing super defensive.
No one's pushing out the top lane, and for example, like a Morphling
Yeah.
could just like right-click that range barracks, and LFY have to kind of respect that, and no one's really pushing out that lane. That'll definitely make things look a little bit fishy for Finem, and now it's just been way too long. They're pretty aware of what's going on. Thug's the only one that's out. He could get caught out if there's a quick Blink Burrow strike onto him. There is an Observer Ward placed down. He's in a tiny bit of danger, but not if he's all the way back behind the T2.
Yeah, he sits far enough back. That Observer Ward is not going to be able to find him.
And now and Xiaowei will reveal themselves on the bottom lane, and the flare will confirm what AF suspect.
A quick push onto the tier 2, but it may come at a serious cost here. Already, Skylark is pushing those creeps into the rain tracks at the
They
top
relocate
lane.
into the mid lane as they take down the racks.
Yeah, they're just going straight for the full mid lane. They're going to be able to take down that tier 3. They're going to focus on the rain tracks, realizing that the rotations of LFY are coming in too quick. They have to back themselves away.
That's what you get for leaving your base.
Yep.
So that's Finem. The Bat Rider just Firefly, push at the top lane, and then boom, instant relocate to the mid lane. They can't defend both lanes at once. They can hardly defend one.
And look at that. The Aghanims is now up for Thug and is still trying to finish up his BKB.
And now LFY are in a really sticky situation. If they leave their base, they will get their racks taken down by the never-ending siege from the Morphling, and their lanes will be pushed out. However, if they want to go contest, or like if they don't, then Roche is going to be up. Roche is up in 30 seconds. And how are LFY actually going to do this? They have no BOTs. They're struggling to even get their second damage item on a lot of their heroes, and if they lose one team fight, they could potentially just lose the game at this moment. So they have to be spot on with this black hole. This black hole is going to mean everything for LFY.
Yeah, at the same time, right, they can't actually give up this Roshan because an Aegis would allow Finem to freely take a lane. So they are going to have to go outside of the base for this contest. And Finem can go ahead and they can play it slow if they want to. Skylark does spot out the fact that Roshan's up, gets bashed a couple times for his trouble.
Yeah, they can just keep scouting out with Rocket. There is Max Rocket on the Clockwork 414 build from him. He doesn't have that many skill points to work with, so this is a very important tool that they have just to make sure that LFY doesn't sneak it.
Yeah, again, the push is coming in the top lane. They have to relocate, ready to go. LFY have to respect this.
But Enigma could blink Black Hole. He's in position where if they relocate top, he can blink Black Hole. He was waiting for it. He was just sitting there for a few seconds. But they don't want any free damage on the range tracks, and Xiaowei will reveal his positioning, and Finem will move into the Roshan pit while split pushing at the same time.
Our LFY gonna break this conundrum. They are gonna see some of the Finem heroes running towards Roche. They have that replicate ready to go at the top lane at any moment, so which one does Xiaowei choose? Does he choose to try and catch the Morphling when he goes for the split push, or does he all-in commit for finding the Morphling inside the Roshan pit?
I think they need to feign a movement. They need to have like one hero pushing out the lane.
Well, it's going to be Advenom making the first maneuver. They're going to be able to grab DDC. No swap to be able to break this lasso. Yao comes in trying to intercept, but once again, it just turns into an extra death given to Advenom. Forget about Roshan games. Advenom will take the first step. They'll take the first move, and they'll really take Roshan because of that.
They know exactly where Xiaowei was because he casted his Eidolons on the top lane. So because of that, they know they cannot win a team fight if there is no black hole, or LFY cannot win a team fight. So this will lead to an easy Roshan and pretty clear path to victory for Advenom. This is the most comfortable position that they've been in all game, as the Aegis of the Immortal will look to go Madara's way. Now he has a butterfly on top of that, so good thing he didn't go for BKB, because now he has Aegis and a Wisp.
It seems like an impossible scenario. LFY stuck in some sort of horrible defensive game against a monster Madara Morphling, who's got an Aegis, an Ethereal Blade, Mantis Style, Butterfly, and he's got his trusty buddy Spartan sitting behind him on the Wisp, ready to go at a moment's notice. I don't know what combination of spells that LFY are going to be able to cast to make this defense hold, but already they may just lose one of the heroes. Xiaowei almost gets popped by a small poke from Madara. That's the thing. He's not even meaning real serious business. He's just kind of poking at you, seeing what he can get, and he quickly slides away to his replicate to push out the top lane.
Man, Xiaowei doesn't even panic BKB there. That's something like, okay, he doesn't have buyback, right? And he's just getting shotgunned down by the Morphling, but he does have that trusty cloak of spell resistance. So he didn't get bursted down, but you know, most players would panic right there and be like, oh my god, I'm right about to die. I'm at like 300 HP. You see them BKB, and then that's just super easy for Advenom. Then they have the Puck, as well as I guess other heroes too that can stop the black hole aside from the clockwork.
Another hard part is LFY have no vision to work around with. They've been holding on to this gem of Skylarks for so long. LFY, they really have very little ideas about Advenom's movements.
Here they go with the smoke maneuver. They have no observable wards inside the base. Can Skylark get the jump?
Madara's going to be leading the push here. He's going to head over to the bottom lane. He's going to chip away at that tier 3 tower. Immediately try and flank the Rikus. He already managed to take out Yao, but they do manage to get the stun. Hold on him, trying to finish him off, but they managed to relocate him out. Now a 4-man Dream Coil, but they're lacking the Morphling. DDC is going to be the shot here. Skylark pulling him back, but Madara's actually ignoring DDC. He's going straight for the melee racks. Objective-based gaming is all about Advenom right now. He jumps forward with a waveform. Does put himself in a bit of danger here. We're still waiting on that black hole. Xiaowei patiently holding on to it, but he is losing objectives slowly but surely. It's going to be the melee racks that falls now. Another nuke comes out. Juggernaut brought low. They are trying to finish off Madara with that Aegis, but they just can't quite get him. He's going to wait for him over to the right-hand side and runs himself away. LFY, they know their win condition has to be breaking that Aegis without using the black hole, but they just cannot seem to do enough damage to bring him down.
It's just the Morphling show. He's all up in their base. He's the only one there. Everyone's like sitting behind waiting for LFY to make a move, but they don't want to commit because they're only going to catch one hero in their ultimates. That would be a one-person black hole, and that's just not what they're looking for. They need a lot more, and that was with the Sand King down too. Now the Sand King's back up, maybe they can catch a few more heroes on the back line with the epicenter, but if they don't get the Morphling, I'm pretty sure he's just going to kill them before the duration of the black hole goes to 5.
They're going to heal Madara full up here, relocate him back to base.
Skylark still in position for maybe.
I mean, now he's just going to run uphill with a full 10-second BKB. I don't know how they're going to be able to stop him here, but they have to actually come outside and get the jump before Advenom actually set up, and that's why Super jumps forward. He's going straight for Skylark. The Ghost Scepter's there. He needs to be able to defuse the blade that one up, but he can't quite get it in time. Skylark is going to be able to survive through most of it. He finally goes down. The cogs come out for maybe next time, but it is LFY just cleaning up. They managed to find Thug on the left-hand side, but they're losing their base at the same time. Madara, he's just focused on one other melee Rex. They managed to catch him with the black hole, but Madara, he's still staying strong through all of this. He still has the BKB as well as the Aegis. He pops the BKB, turns against DDC, hoping to be able to man through all of this damage that's coming out. 3 more seconds until waveform is up. Spartan does not have a relocate, but he does have a tether ready to go. He's going to bump into DDC, take
taking out that support in the back lines. LFY, they just don't have the damage. They managed to take out another, but it's still Madara at half HP. Manning up against the 4-man. Here comes in Epicenter Yao. They managed to finish up the Wiz. They're slowing down a little bit, push forward. Madara actually stays ahead of that Burrow Strike, and he's trying to man up against this guy, but he just seems to have too much HP. Madara the monster! My God! Triple kill against 5 of LFY, and he still has an Aegis, and to the bitter end will fight, but Zhao Wei will not. He gets it up. Game 1 is at Finem.
All they had to do was sit back behind the fling and let him do his thing. The threat of the counterplay was just too much for LFY to deal with, and eventually they just saw their base crumble without casting any spells. What a crushing defeat.
Absolutely, you gave Zhao Wei his Enigma.